So when you think about farming, you're probably picturing tractors and fields, right? Well, I want you to forget all of that for a minute, because today we're not starting on the ground, we're starting in orbit. This is the story of a high-tech battle, a literal war being fought from space to secure India's food supply and completely rewire its future. So to understand why this is a war, you have to know this number: 1.53 trillion rupees. Now, get this. That's not food lost to bad weather or pests. No, that's the value of food that is grown perfectly well, harvested, and then lost. It just vanishes somewhere in a broken, inefficient supply chain every single year. It's an absolutely staggering amount of waste, and it's the core problem this whole high-tech mission is designed to solve. So, that brings us to the strategic battlefield. And yeah, we're calling it a battle because this is a full-on, coordinated fight against some huge adversaries. We're talking climate change, we're talking about that massive waste, and these incredibly fragile supply chains. But here's the kicker. The front line isn't on the ground. It's hundreds of kilometers straight up. The mission, the entire strategy, boils down to a fundamental shift in thinking. You see, for centuries, farming has been reactive. You see a bug, you spray. The rains fail, you take a loss. This new approach is all about becoming predictive. It's about using data to see problems coming weeks, even months in advance, and then organizing the entire logistics chain around what is going to happen, not what's already happened. So how in the world is that predictive power even possible? Well, it comes from India's brand new eyes in the sky. Let's dive into the incredible technological arsenal that's being put into orbit. I mean, the leap here is just massive. The old way? Someone shows up every once in a while with a clipboard, it's totally dependent on good weather, and the data is all manual. The new way is a complete game changer. We're talking satellites giving us daily updates on every farm, all-weather imaging that can literally see through clouds, and powerful AI that takes this mountain of data and turns it into simple, actionable advice. And let's be clear, this isn't some far-off dream. A $145 million consortium led by the startup Pixel is making this happen right now. They're building India's own commercial satellite network. This means hyper-frequent daily monitoring with these incredibly sophisticated sensors. Sensors that can see light our eyes can't, revealing hidden clues about crop health. And the best part? It's all Indian tech, which means no more relying on foreign satellites. Now, one of the key weapons in this arsenal is something called synthetic aperture radar, or SAR. Just think of it like satellite X-ray vision. Regular satellites are blinded by India's thick monsoon clouds, which is a huge problem because that's exactly when you need to be monitoring critical crops like rice. SAR technology on satellites like RISAT-1 sees right through it all: clouds, smoke, even darkness. It ensures there are absolutely no blind spots. And the level of detail is just astounding. By combining all this satellite data with AI, these systems can map out soil moisture and pinpoint specific nutrient deficiencies with up to 92% accuracy. What that means on the ground is that farmers can apply water or fertilizer only where it's needed, down to the square meter. It cuts waste and seriously boosts yields. Here's what that actually looks like in practice. You're seeing a series of satellite images here tracking a wheat crop as it grows over a few months. That shift in color to that bright red, that's a sign of healthy vegetation. You can literally sit back and watch the health of an entire region's harvest develop from space week by week. It's incredible. But all this intelligence isn't just for making things better on the farm. Its real power is in securing that entire supply chain. It's about making the logistics on the ground smarter, faster, and way more efficient. So let me walk you through how that data travels from orbit to outcome. Step 1, a satellite scans a crop and gathers data. Step 2, an AI program, like one called Fazal, takes that data and predicts the size of the harvest months ahead of time. Step 3, that prediction automatically pings logistics companies to get trucks and trains ready. And finally, step 4, smart warehouses know exactly how much grain is coming and even what quality it is before a single stalk has even been cut. It's a seamless, predictive system. This quote from Star Agri, a big agri-logistics company, really just hits the nail on the head. Growing the food is just half the battle. Getting it from the farm to your plate without it spoiling, that's where the real challenge is. And that's where this technology makes its biggest dent, in that 1.53 trillion rupee problem.
This system also opens up huge economic doors. By pairing satellite data with blockchain, you can create a completely secure, tamper-proof digital passport for every batch of produce. This kind of farm-to-fork traceability is exactly what premium international buyers are looking for. It allows Indian farmers to prove the quality of their goods and get much better prices on the global market.
Okay, so this is all incredibly powerful, right? But the big question is, how does all this space-age intelligence actually get to the person who needs it most, the individual farmer working their land? Well, that's the next part of the mission. The whole thing is built on this massive government project to create a digital public infrastructure for agriculture. Programs like AgriStack are creating unique digital IDs for over 100 million farmers, plugging them all into one unified system that can deliver data, advice, and even financial services right to their phones. And the real key, the tool that unlocks it all for the farmer, is called Bharat-VISTAAR. It's a multilingual AI that basically does all the heavy lifting. It takes all that complex satellite data and translates it into simple, easy-to-understand advice in local languages. It's literally like putting an expert agricultural scientist in every single farmer's pocket. And this creates this amazing synergy, which is probably best summed up by this simple phrase: satellites provide the map, and drones provide the medicine. And you're seeing that partnership in action right here. The satellite data creates this super precise map, highlighting exactly which small patch of a field is struggling. Then a drone is sent out to deliver that medicine, a little fertilizer or pesticide, with pinpoint accuracy. No waste, no overspraying, just smart, targeted action. So finally, let's just zoom out and look at the truly transformative impact of all this. What does it all mean for India's economy, for its people, and for its future? Well, for starters, winning this war isn't just about saving food, it's about creating opportunity. This agri-tech revolution is expected to create 250,000 new jobs, 250,000 new roles for trained young people, for rural entrepreneurs, all in this booming new sector. And for decades, the story in India was about brain drain, with the best and brightest minds leaving the agricultural world behind. What we're seeing now is the total opposite, a great brain gain. Top engineers, data scientists, and innovators are flooding into agriculture, turning it from an old-fashioned industry into one of the most exciting and innovative sectors in the country. Which really leaves us with one final big question. As India builds and perfects this incredible blueprint for food security, at a scale nobody has ever attempted before, could it be that its greatest export in the future won't be rice or wheat, but the model itself? A model that could help feed the world? Okay.